Today, Derek Gates will share best practices for creating a clear, concise membership offering. Derek has been with Allen Press since 2004. He began his tenure as an association manager before being promoted to supervisor of association management and then to manager of association management in 2011. Derek has an in-depth knowledge of managing associations, providing customer services and database management, and Derek holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration as well as a Bachelor of Science in French from the University of Kansas. Derek enjoys spending time with his wife and daughters and being outdoors and, of course, anything to do with athletic events. I'm going to go ahead and turn the presentation over to Derek now. And don't forget, as we go along, to chat me your questions if you have them.
Thank you, Joanna. As an introduction, Allen Press currently manages the memberships and/or subscriptions for over 50 organizations, and we've been providing management services for more than 25 years. We have 15 staff members dedicated to management services to these organizations, and 6 of us have 8+ years of experience. Through that experience, we have developed many best practices that we would like to share. Whether volunteers manage your database and provide customer service, you outsource the services to a management company, or your paid staff is in charge. We believe these best practices are beneficial for the organization, management team, and most importantly, the members. Let's face it, membership structures can be complicated, which impacts everybody involved. As a roadmap for today's webinar, we will discuss goals for your membership structure, membership categories, chapter memberships, approval processes, student requirements, lifetime memberships, decoupling print subscriptions, calendar year versus anytime start. We'd like to discuss these topics, identify some of the common concerns, and then suggest alternative options to meet your goals in a more efficient manner. Whether you are a startup organization or the board is simply performing an annual review, goals are key. Without them, your membership structure will have no direction. What are your goals? What do you want to accomplish with your membership structure? Some organizations want to provide many options for their members. Others prefer a simple and straightforward structure. It may be that the organization's members must be vetted before allowing them to join, which typically requires an application process and a team of officers to review and approve all new members. You will want to aim for the simplest membership structure that will accomplish your goals, being careful not to add anything that truly isn't needed to accomplish those goals. If you have an existing structure and are scared to make any changes because of what the bylaws say, that were written 40 years ago say, it is okay to update your bylaws. You have a process defined for updating them, so take advantage so that your structure evolves with the membership's needs. We often see membership forms that have asterisks on every category, with 2 pages of details listed to explain who can exactly join each membership category. In most situations, there's no need to be so specific. The name of the membership category should be sufficient. If you are developing a membership structure or revising your existing structure, don't just copy one from another sister organization. We've seen that occur with the membership form being copied as well. Then, 10 years later, the officers are asked why their membership forms request specialty demographic information that doesn't even apply to their organization. And they have no answer for that. If you do use an existing structure as a template, make sure to review every single aspect to make sure your organization needs it. If you have a manual application process, we strongly consider eliminating it by updating your bylaws. The effort to update the bylaws will most likely be less than 1 year's worth of managing the application process. Let's just quickly review and define some of the common membership categories. There are a few common terms for the basic categories, such as regular, active, and professional. They often all mean the same, but a given association can use one or the other. The next most common category often is specific to students. This offering is often discounted by 50% or more. Typically, any type of student status is acceptable, from an undergrad, a postgrad, a postdoc, and the requirements and the length of time an individual may be a student varies greatly across associations. It is common that this discounted membership results in a journal benefit of online-only access, no voting rights, and no right to hold office. The next two categories are often more confusing, and the terms may be used interchangeably for one organization or separately defined categories for another organization. For those organizations that offer both retired members and emeritus members, they may have no benefit difference and only a slight difference in discount. Retired memberships are frequently tied to the professional status of the individual, while emeritus memberships may be more of a VIP designation within the organization. Emeritus members may be required to be a member of the organization for 25 years or simply are voted on by the membership committee. If your organization has both categories, make sure that you need both and that the differences are clearly defined for all members. The term associate is probably the most ambiguous and varies the most between organizations. Two common uses of the term associate members are, one, to track inactive members that still want to be kept on the member list and receive newsletters, but most likely won't attend any of the meetings or be active in committees. Two, to track vendors or corporations. The vendor and corporation model often ties to those companies that sponsor events or registration materials at the annual meeting. Corporate memberships may be a nice offering if you have many members at certain corporations or institutions. A common model for corporations is to include 5 or 10 complimentary regular memberships and maybe even a few meeting registrations. While many organizations may not even have corporate members, the term is often used and confused with corporate sponsors of the annual meeting. So keep in mind that simply sponsoring some aspect of the meeting doesn't typically include an actual corporate membership. Now that we have a brief overview of the common membership categories, let's look at a sample complex membership structure. With all the membership categories of this sample organization, do you think a prospective member would know which to choose? The quantity of options to sift through grows quickly when multiple membership categories, journal benefits, and term links are offered. But are all these options needed? Are they even different from each other? If they aren't different, then why aren't there fewer options? Some membership categories may require some application or approval process, but why? Does the organization really deny a student or an emeritus member? Once you have set your membership structure, can you view a summary and know how many members you have? If you have 600 members, do you really need or want 24 different membership categories? With such a large quantity of categories, how is the renewal campaign executed? Are multiple notices developed, or is one complex notice used for all members? Let's look at this example to the right a little bit closer. The first thing I notice are the numerous categories that have little usage. Why offer memberships with no journal benefit if no member chooses it? Why offer online memberships to emeritus members? Focus on the membership categories with the most usage. Simplify to what is clearly the desired category. Phase out those that are not desired by the membership. The management of those by the customer service team is a lot of effort that may not be needed, and the confusion by the members of what options they have is not worth that. Fewer options will result in an easier and more friendly join and renewal process. Complex renewal campaigns and notices can be eliminated, resulting in less design costs and a chance of sending the wrong notice to the wrong member category. If a member cannot remember what actual category they are, does your renewal notice help them remember, or do you have members frequently changing their category? You will be able to track membership trends better with simpler options, as members won't be jumping from one to another unless specifically intended. In regards to the journal benefit offered, there are two primary offerings, the online-only subscription and the print and online subscription. The organization's difference in cost between no journal and online access is frequently minimal, if anything. The print-only option is the same. What is your true additional cost to offer the online access with the print? It is best to avoid offering the no journal and print-only options. First off, what is a chapter membership? A chapter membership is a subset of the national or international membership. There are two common models. The first is the geographic region. It is an attempt to group members to allow for smaller, more frequent meetings and networking. The second model is by specialty, to group members by the common topic, to help them network and learn about from other members interested in their specific specialty. The sample organization has 4 chapters, and members can opt to join any of the chapters. The chapters have various rates, and one even requires approval from the chapter's leadership. Each one may manage their own membership list, so payments will be sent to various offices throughout the country or the world. Why do the prices vary? Is there a reason? Did former chapter leaders set the price, or was there an organized effort? If your organization likes to track a primary chapter preference, can that be done with the database and the website that's currently in use? If each chapter manages their own list and payments, members must send their main membership payment to the organization's headquarters and their chapter payment to another office, or even multiple chapter offices. To scare you a little bit, are your chapter's finances included in your organization's financial statements? Does your accountant or external auditors have any concerns with how the chapter manages and reports their activities? Chapter offices are frequently volunteer-based and change annually. Do you offer a full set of contact information, such as email, phone, and mailing address? Is that information kept updated with each change? As far as data integrity is impacted, it is very difficult to track membership information out of 2 offices and databases. There is a very good chance the member's mailing address or email address is different in the main membership database and the chapter database. Does the member expect any change to their contact information listed with the chapter to also be changed in the main membership database? Is it? Can you manage 2 sets of contact information that are different? Do you want to manage that? The simplest model for any organization that has chapters is to manage everything in a single database. The data will be more accurate with less customer service required to keep it maintained. Members can join or renew their membership options with a single transaction and receipt. Sensitive information can be monitored by the primary customer service team with a single stream of payment processing, which will keep your accountants and external auditors happy. Organizations should also attempt to keep rates the same across all chapters, which will result in less member confusion and a consistency of financial information. I have referred to an approval process some already, but let's look a little closer. Does the organization require approval from new members as well as any member wanting to change their membership category? If so, often the payment is held until the membership committee reviews the application. These delays can even last months or until the next business meeting so the membership can approve the members. Does your membership committee have time to promptly review every application, or is it too time-consuming for them to deal with? Do they have the knowledge or direction for what the qualities they should be reviewing and basing their approval off of? The first experience a new member has with your organization should not be a drawn-out process. If you have such a process, that may result in a decision to withdraw their application. The primary alternative is to eliminate the approval process, even if that requires a change to the bylaws. If you deny less than 1% of applicants that are attempting to join or change their category, it's simply not worth the effort. You should require no documentation. If you do need to review the members that have joined, have the membership committee review the membership list annually and approve in a more efficient manner. What is a student membership? Try to define that in a few words. Are these undergrads only, graduates also, or does it also include all postdocs? What about those individuals that are students for life? This might be the toughest membership category for any organization to define, and that is before you think about the restrictions. Often, there is a maximum quantity of years any member can be a student member. There are also many organizations that continue to require verification of student status, which may be in the form of a sponsor's signature, a photocopy of the student ID. Let's look at a few examples. For those organizations that require student status to be certified, they may request a sponsor's name. More detailed requirements could require the full contact information and signature of the student and the sponsor. On screen, there are two models, a simple one at top and a more defined one at the bottom that requires a lot more information to be gathered by the student. If you track undergrads, graduates, and postdocs as different categories, are you inflating your membership category? Is your customer service team able to track your requirements? Those requirements being the quantity of years, being able to review a student ID. It's not always simple to track the quantity of years. You have defined rules for handling gaps in the time frame. Have they been trained to spot expired student IDs? Do they contact the sponsor by phone to verify their signature and the student's name? Have you polled new student members to ask their thoughts on the process? Do they have any friends that chose not to join because they simply didn't have time to complete the process? The minute you put a verification step in the process, you have limited the automation of the payment process. Suggestions for the simplification of the process is to eliminate it. Eliminate the documentation requirement and anything that prevents you from gaining a student member. There are better ways to monitor the category to make sure no regular member is trying to sneak in at the cheaper rate. Member benefits can be basic. It's common for bylaws to exclude student members from the voting process. We've also seen a couple of bolder ideas that work very well. Don't buy the ribbons that hang from the name badges at your annual meeting, as those can simply go unused. Instead, print the word student on the actual name badge. If a member asks for a new name badge without student printed on it, then you can ask for the payment of the difference in the dues and the registration fees. Alternatively, the membership committee can audit the student member list annually, perhaps with the assistance of members at key institutions. You will often have members that can spend a few minutes reviewing a list to make sure all students are at their university. If the organization does need to track if the student is an undergrad, grad student, or postdoc, try to move that to a demographic instead of within the membership structure. Lifetime memberships are often thought of as a great idea for organizations, but are they? Common options are a regular lifetime membership, a developing country membership, and even a student lifetime membership. Further complicating the offering is the journal benefit included with each. Assuming the organization's lifetime membership is quite a bit more expensive than a single-year membership, installment options are frequently offered. Depending upon the cost of the lifetime membership, a single payment may be expected, or the cost can be spread out over a series of annual payments. But just as there are with student memberships, requirements often exist for lifetime memberships. Does the member have to have a history of at least 10 years with the organization? For a developing country lifetime member, what are the countries that are included? We have had students ask what a student lifetime membership is, and does it last for their entire life, or just their student years? Some confusion can be common. The journal benefit is a large concern, as we have no clue what the cost of online access or print copies of the journal may be in 10, 20, or 40 years from now. I urge any membership committee to discuss payment options with the accounting staff before announcing options. Revenue recognition of membership is complicated enough, but extending installment payments can be a nightmare. Can your management database easily track installment plans, including any missed payments? Do you have a membership record history sufficient to even be able to verify a requirement of 20 years of membership? Again, simplify your options. A single regular lifetime membership option is sufficient. Make sure to exclude your print subscription from any lifetime membership. The future unknown costs are simply too risky. You want all members to have a chance to update their contact information and donate annually. So why not contact them annually to inquire about the optional print journal subscription at the same time you are for their contact information and donation? Avoid multiple installment options, as a basic 4-year installment plan is all that is expected. Your accountants will be happy, and your customer service staff will be able to manage the installment plan easier. Make sure your lifetime rates are sufficient to meet your goals. 5 times or 10 times the annual dues is probably not going to cover the cost of the lifetime membership. If the installment amount is only 2 times the annual dues, then you better make sure members don't opt in and receive 30 years for free. Your future membership revenue is too important to the organization to give it away today. Do not attempt to list the countries your organization believes should receive the developing country discount on your website or any membership forms. Your list will soon be outdated and incomplete. We suggest that you link to existing lists maintained by the World Bank or Hinari. They are making the effort to keep an updated list. Let them do that. Once you have defined or modified your membership structure, you must spread the word. Even if you have a great member structure, it is wasted if you don't inform the current and prospective members of your offering. Membership options and benefits should be available on the website without creating an account. You should also have links from other websites, including the journal website. The options and benefits should also include in the publication, marketing material, and on meeting registration forms. Most importantly, make sure all of that information is as clear and concise as possible. Clearly communicate changes in membership structure, what bylaw was impacted, and when the vote will occur. Highlight the changes in the next renewal marketing material. You will want to release the new model ahead of the renewal cycle, not in the middle. And directly contact any member whose membership type has been changed. If you are retiring an option and that member will be changed automatically to a new category, make sure they specifically know that and don't feel like they're just getting pushed around. Moving on, we have a couple of topics to discuss that directly impact the complexity of any membership structure. Depending upon the organization and the journal, the idea of decoupling the print subscription from memberships becomes more common. Often, the membership requests the print subscription to no longer be included in hopes that this will decrease the membership cost. Or they request to just drop a benefit they are no longer interested in. Be wary of only looking at the reduced print run and decrease in expense, as the decreased revenues might be more impactful. One negative with decoupling the print is the decrease in the membership revenue, assuming the organization offered a decrease. Additionally, the per copy cost of print copies will most likely the quantity printed decreases. Will you increase the cost of the print subscriptions to the members that want it still to cover this charge? One unintended concern is often a drop in the advertising revenue. How does that occur? Most advertisers are concerned with the quantity of members the print copy reaches, and the online-only advertisements don't pack the same punch for the advertisers. If the decision is made to decouple the print subscription, you will want to spend extra time when determining print counts for the next few volumes. We found that, regardless of how well your marketing materials looked, many members don't know of the change. Expect more late payments for the print subscription than you think. Alternatively, the members may know of the change, but decide they don't care about the print subscription and can live with just the online access. We see members reverse that particular decision, resulting in the need for sufficient back issues in inventory to cover their print subscription that comes later in the year. If you are managing your organization's membership, it is good to understand the difference in the calendar year versus anytime start model. Calendar year memberships run from January 1 through December 31. Anytime start memberships vary greatly, from the first day of the quarter or month to any particular day. Two frequent reasons that organizations switch from a calendar year to an anytime start model are, one, to respond to member requests for flexibility, or two, to reduce the hassle and expense tied to back issue fulfillment. Please do know that such a switch will result in an increase in customer service. The membership count will be more volatile, resulting in deep analysis for print costs for each journal mailing. Most membership databases are capable of handling the anytime start model, but is your e-commerce website? If a member renews 2 months early or 4 months late, are they given the same start date they would receive if the customer service team manually processed the payment? If the membership start dates are not coordinated with the journal, is it possible to have active journal subscriptions outside of the membership term? Our experience is that the calendar year model requires much less effort for all parties, and the additional effort required to maintain an anytime start model is simply not needed. The anytime start model can help you avoid back issue fulfillment expenses, assuming the member is okay with missing a print copy from their collection if they happen to pay late. But do think about what expenses, such as renewal notice design, printing, and postage, that may actually increase. In summary, key areas to look at is simplify your membership structure, fewer membership categories, manage chapter memberships in primary membership database, eliminate approval processes and student verification, and limit lifetime membership options and benefits. Other areas of interest that we discussed were decoupling print subscriptions has benefits, but it also has unintended consequences. And calendar year membership models are ideal. And do not forget, it is okay to update your bylaws to eliminate membership structure problems.
Great, thank you, Derek. We do have a couple of questions that came in, and I'll go through those. And feel free to go ahead and chat in questions as we go along with the Q&A here, and I'll try to pay attention to what comes in through the chat feed. So, Derek, the first question we have is, when starting up a new society, how does one establish a membership rate for regular and student categories? This particular society doesn't have any publications yet. So that would be something to consider when you're giving the answer. And in this case, information would be available online to members, and funds would be collected. Funds collected would go towards future collaborative meetings. That's the plan to start. So what advice do you have for a new society who's looking to set up their membership structure in terms of what costs you should set for student and regular members?
Sure, that is a great question. There are two main areas I would look at, and the first would be similar associations and what their benefit package and costs are. You're going to want to know what the competition has. If they are all, very expensive and you're a startup, you're most likely going to want to be underneath those, but you don't need to undercut them so far that you don't survive. So take a look at those sister associations that are out there. Second, what are your revenue goals, 1 to 2, 3 years out? What are your expenses going to be for those meetings? Looking at your membership revenue as the primary key to a base cash for those meetings, you're going to want to make sure that you can meet those goals.
Great. And another thing that we have sometimes seen new associations do is offer maybe even a founding membership for the first year or two that gives members an opportunity to enter at a higher rate and be listed as a founding member. And that can also help you kind of generate some revenue as you're starting things up. And that you wouldn't have to continue that membership category for a long time, but it would be maybe a good category to have just when you're starting out to try and bump up your revenue a little bit. Great. So the next question I have is about lifetime membership, and this is also a question about how to price the lifetime membership and what factors should be considered when determining the appropriate cost for that type of membership.
To determine that, you definitely want to look at what benefits you are going to include in that lifetime membership. If you are having the print copy, the cost is going to be quite higher, and you're going to want to look at what the current cost is, estimate your expected length of a lifetime member. Do you think the average will be a member for 30 years? You'll need to multiply that print cost times that 30 years. What we often see is somewhere between 10 times and 20 times the regular membership price, and all of the same benefits except that the print subscription is excluded. That way, you're estimating roughly 15 years of membership minimum for each of those. If you're going to do so, you will want to have some type of a membership history required of those members. Make sure that you don't end up in a situation where you have members paying when they're on the younger side and your calculation is for 15 years of membership and they end up being 40 years. You've given away all of your membership revenue, and in 20 years you may have issues with 50% of your membership base being lifetime already paid members.
Great advice. So I have another question about decoupling the print subscription from the membership benefits. And the question is, do members always expect to see a decrease in the actual price of that membership if the print is no longer included, or is there something that organizations can do to kind of maintain the same price and make it look like there's not really a loss in the membership benefit?
We have seen a trend with some associations offering an online-only membership, regardless of the category, that is the exact same price as the print and online membership. Many of the members often are confused with that, and that may just be that the notice of the change in the marketing materials were not clear enough in that change. But that can be handled as a membership category, or depending on your database and website capability, you could keep those as the main member category with print and online access, but maintain a demographic somewhere in your database that opts them out of the print copy. Depending on what management software is being used, that could be the case. The key concern there is, will the mail list be able to pull that information, that opt-out information efficiently?
And for organizations, we've seen sometimes where you don't really want to decrease your membership price because you're kind of at bottom basement anyway. A lot of times, if you time the removal of print as an automatic benefit with some kind of release for new online functionality, members can see that as an increase in online functionality that accounts for the loss of print in terms of keeping the membership price the same. So we've seen a lot of organizations maybe add mobile optimization to their journal website at the same time that they remove print as an automatic benefit, and sometimes that can help to get rid of any kind of backlash that would be expected from members who expect to have a lower membership price if they're no longer receiving the print copy as part of that membership price. So I've received another question. We're a small nonprofit with 5 membership cycles. We have thought about going to one annual cycle, and how to switch over to that model seems a bit mind-boggling. So any suggestions? Do we do a short-term prorated rate or a 1-year plus prorated? And then what are there cash flow issues as well?
Sure, that is a great question. And I definitely agree that moving from an anytime start model to a calendar year can be daunting. The key concerns are what the cost of each benefit. And again, often it does come down to the subscription. Um, Prorating may work for the membership base, especially if it's a smaller organization and they all understand the need and desire for the management team, the customer service team, to be able to handle everything more efficiently. Prorating with very custom and work on invoices and renewal notices so that they don't have any questions. The customer service team putting in all that additional effort so that prorated option is clearly defined for them will be a key to the success of that. You may also look at a few of those that are very close to a calendar year model that are just a couple of months away. Can you just give them those last few months or last quarter as a complementary period so that they're not messing with a payment of a fifth of the annual dues? That does depend on the true cost you have on your expenses, but the two models, the prorating and then any complementary periods are the ones to look at, and a combination of the two is probably going to be the best option for any small organization.
So, Derek, just a follow-up to that, if you're doing an anytime start model, is it best to start in January, or in that situation, would you want to kind of look at your 5 renewal periods and see which one has the most memberships in that, that renewed it during that period to make that the start of your calendar year?
Great question. The January is often easy for members to remember. For a lot of professional associations, that's common, but to ease migration over to the calendar year, you can definitely choose another date. It may be, we have seen where organizations 10 years ago were on a August start, and then it did run for the calendar year, and was only the one option. They changed customer service team or management company and were moved to an anytime start model. But 70% of the members may still start in August. In that situation, it's going to be far easier for you to move the other 30% to August. And while you're not truly on a January to December, you have a lot more ease in managing the membership when you are one start date.
Great, thank you, Derek. So it looks like that's all the questions we have for today. I want to thank Derek and also all of our attendees. Thanks for coming to today's webinar. I hope you enjoyed the presentation and that you'll take away some ideas about how you might simplify your own membership structure. We will be sending out a brief survey that will include links to both the slides and a video recording of today's session. Please do take a few moments to complete the survey. We're always looking for feedback on how we can improve future webinars, as well as suggestions for future topics. And don't forget, you can continue the conversation on both Facebook and Twitter. That concludes our session for today. Thanks very much.